What on earth is going on?
Because I know I'm worth a million.
I know her as Qualeisha. I know her as Lily. I know her as we in the same house in the same bed. That's what I know her as.
And we begin with
Is
a
she
story
rapping
you'll
or is she
only see
making an
here
intro?
on 11 Alive News. A rapper's family identifies her as the woman shot to death in Southeast Atlanta.
Whoa.
That's right. 11 Alive's Chase Howell spoke to the family who believes she may have been targeted because she was pregnant.
They didn't just kill Qualeisha Barnes
That's
that
crazy.
night. They killed her unborn baby too, 14 weeks along.
Damn.
Shot 4 times in the face.
Whoa.
Sitting in the driver's seat of her own car, a white Range Rover Sport,
People
on
are
a
getting
quiet
active
residential
out there.
street in Atlanta at 1:30 in the morning.
What?
Her mother said she was targeted. And the more you look at this case, the harder it is to disagree.
Damn.
Let me tell you something about this woman. Qualeisha Barnes, 36 years old, originally from Detroit, Michigan. But she had been grinding in the Atlanta area for about 10 years. And she wasn't just surviving out there. She was building something.
She was making moves.
She went by a few names depending on who you were to her.
Okay.
Her family called her Qualeisha. They called her Lily. Her closest people, the ones who grew up in the same house, slept in the same bed. They didn't care nothing about a stage name. To them, she was just their girl.
Yeah.
But out in the world, she went by So Siditty, or So Siditty.
Hey.
She was making moves in the rap scene, and people in Detroit.
So Siditty? You mean Diddy P Diddy? Or who Diddy are you talking about? Are we getting Diddy here?
Knew her name. She had over 103,000 followers on Instagram.
Damn, that's
She
a
wasn't
lot.
underground. She had a real following.
She
And
was
rap
so
wasn't even her
mainstream.
only thing. Like, she also ran her own online boutique,
Okay.
So Siditty Boutique. She was her own CEO, her own boss, running a business, building a brand. And, on top of all of that, she was in nursing school.
Wow.
Not just enrolled, actually excelling. She made the dean's list. Her family put it plainly.
Okay.
She had like 2 more semesters to go.
Damn.
She was so proud of herself, and we were so proud of her.
I would be proud of her because it's like not a lot of women are getting it out there. It's like everybody wants to depend on a guy to make their ends meet, but there are some women who are very serious though. She has everything going on for her. She doesn't need any guy's money. She doesn't need any man's money to survive.
If you met Lily, you instantly loved her. And she was such a jokester, you know. She liked to laugh and she always cracking jokes on me. She loved makeup. She loved dressing up. She loved beauty. So, and she was Siddity. She made the dean's list. She had like 2 more semesters to go. She was so proud of herself and we were so proud
Just
of
look
her.
at that.
2 more semesters. That's it. Oh, and she had just bought herself a brand new 2024 Range Rover Sport.
Damn.
Posted it on Instagram. Big red bow on the hood.
Okay.
Jumping up and down with joy.
All by herself.
That car was a symbol. Proof that the work was paying off.
Oh yeah.
And she was 14 weeks pregnant.
Damn.
Make it make sense. Because this woman had everything to live for. Now here's where things get heavy. And where the story stops feeling like a tragedy and starts feeling like something far more deliberate. Qualeisha wasn't out that night doing anything reckless. She wasn't at a club, wasn't at a bar, wasn't in a part of town where you'd expect trouble to find you. She was driving through a quiet residential neighborhood in Southeast Atlanta. Springside Place, Southeast. Houses, driveways, Ring cameras on front doors. The kind of street where people park their cars and go to sleep early. Which means somebody knew she was going to be there.
Damn.
Think about that for a second. For this to happen the way it happened, in a neighborhood, at that hour, either somebody was already waiting for her,
Yeah, I think
or
so.
somebody followed her there.
Yeah.
One of those 2 things had to be true. There's no other way to explain it. Her family said she was on her way to someone's house, and her mother didn't mince words when she spoke to the press.
Okay.
She believed her daughter was targeted, specifically because of the pregnancy.
If you instigate something that causes a murder, then you need some kind, you need something. I think you need to go to jail too.
Yeah. Listen, now, this goes to all the females out there making money who don't need any man to give them what they want. Anytime you start making money, you all need to be careful, because there are lots of jealous people out there. The jealousy and the envy is too much, coming from your friends who maybe they are dependent on other guys to make their ends meet. You all need to be very careful how you carry yourselves out there.
Mother talking about accountability, not just for the person who pulled the trigger,
Okay.
but for whoever may have sent them. Because 4 shots to the face?
Damn!
That's not random. That's not a stray bullet.
Why?
That's not being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
No.
That is intention. That is somebody who looked at Qualeisha Barnes and decided she needed to be gone. Anyway.
Nobody can tell me that she wasn't targeted. Somebody was out there trying to take her away. Maybe that person has been planning for all this time, trying to get rid of her. It could be, I don't know, an anonymous boyfriend. It could be a jealous friend. It could be anybody. She's making money. She's smart. She's getting her life together, and someone is not happy.
The street itself tells a story too. Springside Place SE sits at the end of a residential road. There's a cul-de-sac at the top of a hill.
Okay.
One way in, one way out. If you were waiting for someone in that area, you had options. Park in the cul-de-sac, sit on the hill, or follow them up the street and catch them before they reached the door. Whoever did this knew the layout. Or they knew someone who did. And here's what makes investigators, and anyone paying attention, believe this case will break wide open. That entire street is lined with cameras, Ring doorbells, Google Nest cams, security systems mounted on corners. At least 3 to 4 visible cameras within range of where Qualeisha's Range Rover was found. And with only 1 road in and 1 road out, that suspect vehicle had to pass by at least one of those cameras.
Sure. Yeah,
coming and going. There is no clean getaway from a street like that.
I think so.
Not in 2026.
No.
So here is what we know happened.
To commit murder in a neighborhood like that, it's either you go there in a car, in a vehicle, or you go there on foot. So with all the surveillance camera out there, if none of those could capture the murderer, then he might have gone there on foot.
Early morning, Southeast Atlanta. The neighborhood is quiet, the kind of quiet where you can hear a car turn onto the street from 2 blocks away. Most of the residents are asleep. Porch lights on, Ring cameras blinking. Nobody expecting anything. Qualeisha pulls onto Springside Place Southeast in her white Range Rover Sport. The same car she posted on Instagram with that big red bow. The same car she was so proud of. She's in the driver's seat. 14 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
Going to somebody's house.
Why would you take out a pregnant woman?
She never gets there.
Why would you do that?
Somewhere on that street. Before she reaches the cul-de-sac at the top of the hill, shots ring out. The shooter fires from outside the vehicle. That detail matters. This wasn't a passenger. This wasn't someone she let in the car.
No.
Somebody pulled up on her.
Yeah.
Or was already waiting.
I think
and
so.
Fired through the window. 4 times. In the face.
Damn.
At 1:23 a.m. Some reports say closer to 1:30. Atlanta police respond to Springside Place.
To go to the extent of shooting someone 4 times in the face. means you wanted to not just kill her, but you wanted to squeeze her soul out of her body. She was pregnant though. How could you kill a pregnant woman?
Messy. What they find is Qualeisha Barnes, still in the driver's seat, with multiple gunshot wounds to her face.
Damn, that's
The Range
serious.
Rover is sitting in the middle of the street, right near a house with a basketball hoop in the front yard, right near an electrical box that lines up exactly with photos taken at the scene. She was pronounced dead, and with her unborn child.
Damn.
Now let's talk about what 4 shots to the face actually means in the context of this case. Because that detail is not just tragic, it's a statement.
Okay.
Robberies don't look like this.
No.
Random violence doesn't look like this.
No.
You don't shoot someone 4 times in the face if this was about a chain, a wallet, or being in the wrong place. This was personal.
Yeah.
This
I
was
think
someone
so.
who had a reason. Someone who looked at Qualeisha Barnes and felt something strong enough to do this.
Yeah.
Her cousin Monica Barnes said it best on Facebook that same day. Life is not fair. Y'all didn't have to do her like that. Sip Qualeisha Barnes, aka So Siditty. My blood cousin is gone. Lord Jesus, please keep my family in your prayers.
Damn, that's a strong
And back in
message.
Detroit, the city that first put her on, they felt it too.
They
The
should
media
feel
company
it.
Detroit Got Talent posted a tribute that said, honoring the vibrant spirit of Detroit's own Siddity, who touched so many lives. Your legacy will forever shine bright. Rest easy, Queen. 2 communities, 1 loss, and nobody with answers yet. Atlanta Police Department opened a high homicide investigation immediately.
They should
Lieutenant
do.
Christopher Butler was one of the first officials to address the public, confirming that officers had responded just before 1:30 that morning, found a 36-year-old woman shot multiple times in the driver's
face.
seat of her car, and that the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office had taken over from there.
Let's get you to that breaking news that we're staying on top of right now.
For several hours. Atlanta police told us on the scene that when they responded to a call about a shooting at around 1:30 this morning, they found a 36-year-old woman dead in the driver's seat of her SUV. They say it looks like she'd been shot several times. Now, again, this was on Springside
In the
Place
face.
in southeast Atlanta off of Cleveland Avenue. And Atlanta police said it's early in the investigation, but it appears someone shot into the car multiple times. They are considering this a homicide as they continue to investigate. They say they don't know yet if the woman lives in the neighborhood. They do not have an identity yet, so they are looking for any information that can help in this case.
Okay.
We push Crime Stoppers a lot, 44577 tips. That really is valuable to us. People don't really understand it, and it is anonymous. So if anybody has information, they can call in and leave a tip. And we really do appreciate those tips. They're very valuable.
And Lieutenant Christopher Butler, who you just heard from, emphasized the importance of cameras and neighbors in piecing together what exactly happened here overnight. And of course, we will let you know as soon as we learn more from police. Live here at Atlanta Police Department headquarters, Sarah Hammond, Atlanta News First.
That's
No
very
suspect
bad.
named, no motive released. Just an open investigation and a street full of unanswered questions. But here's what investigators had to work with. And it's more than people might think. That neighborhood on Springside Place C? Like we said, cameras everywhere, Ring doorbells, corner-mounted security systems, at least one Google Nest cam visible from the street. And because that cul-de-sac only has one road in and one road out, whatever car that shooter was in had to travel that same road twice. Once going in, once coming out.
Well, I don't know how difficult this case is going to be to the police to solve. All I know is that somebody out there wanted this lady dead, and you should be out of your mind to murder a pregnant woman. It's like you're not taking away just one life. You're taking away the life of her unborn baby. And that's terrible. You should be that bad, that mean. You should be at a level of a possessed human to be able to go to that extent of eliminating a pregnant woman, shooting her 4 times in the face. It's serious.
You cannot make a move like that on a residential street in 2026 and not show up on somebody's footage. The geometry of that block alone makes it nearly impossible to escape clean. Police immediately began canvassing, knocking on doors, pulling camera footage, talking to residents, urging anyone with a Ring camera or any recording device to come forward through the anonymous tip line. And the family wasn't sitting quiet either. Qualeisha's mother stepped forward publicly and made something very clear. She didn't just want the shooter held accountable. She wanted everyone involved held accountable. Because in her mind, somebody set her daughter up. Somebody made a phone call.
That's how
somebody
it is.
told whoever pulled that trigger exactly where Qualeisha was going to be.
They knew where she was.
And exactly when she was going to be there. And when you think about the logistics of that night, the neighborhood, the hour, the location, the execution, it's hard to argue with her instinct. Now, there were also unconfirmed reports floating around online. And look, we're going to be straight with you because that's what this channel does. Some people were saying that right before the shots fired, somebody honked their horn, like a signal, to get Qualeisha to look up, to turn toward the window. That has not been confirmed by police. But if it's true, it changes the nature of this entirely, because a honk before a shooting isn't random aggression. That's coordination.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how she got murdered. What matters is that somebody died. Somebody killed a mother and a baby. Someone committed a crime, and that person must pay for it. Even though it must seem very difficult for the police to solve, but there is always a way out in solving issues, especially when it has got to do with human beings, because we always make mistakes. There is nothing like a perfect murder. Maybe they might not be able to solve it right away, but I think the world is advanced enough to come to such conclusions. You know, there are cases about 40 years ago, murder cases that has been there for 40 years ago, that are being solved now thanks to the technology we have now to detect DNAs and fingerprints and all of that. The forensics have advanced in their researches, and I think they will come up with a way to apprehend the murderer.
That's communication between at least 2 people, the one who honked and the one who fired. And then there's the other thing people were saying. Online speculation, and again, this is not confirmed, pointed toward the father of the unborn child as someone of interest. The theory being that the pregnancy itself was the motive. Maybe he had another woman. Maybe he didn't want the baby. Maybe somebody in his life didn't want Qualeisha around anymore. Qualeisha's own mother raised the pregnancy as a possible reason she was targeted.
Why?
She said it publicly. That's not nothing. But as of right now, no arrest, no named suspect, no official statement on motive, just cameras being reviewed, neighbors being interviewed, and a family waiting for answers that haven't come yet.
It's always
what is
like
clear is this. Qualeisha Barnes was not a random victim.
No,
she was a 36-year-old woman with a full life, a growing platform, a business, a degree almost in hand, and a baby on the way. And somebody decided all of that needed to stop. The question is who and why. And somewhere on that street, on somebody's doorbell camera, on a corner-mounted security system, maybe even on the floodlight cam attached to a house near the cul-de-sac, there may already be an answer, just waiting to be found.
Yeah.
As of right now, there is no arrest. No handcuffs. No mugshot. No courtroom. Nobody sitting across from a judge answering for what happened to Qualeisha Barnes and her unborn child on that street in southeast Atlanta.
Too early
and
to
that
get
silence?
to
That's its own kind of weight. Atlanta police and Fulton County investigators are still working the case. Cameras are being reviewed. Tips are being processed. Neighbors are being interviewed. The anonymous tip line is still open. And somewhere in all of that, hopefully, is a name, a plate number, a face on a doorbell camera that somebody recognizes.
Okay.
What the family has made clear is that they don't just want one person charged. They want everyone who had a hand in this to face consequences.
How can you say something
shooter.
like that? You don't want one person charged. What if the murder was committed by a single person? What if the murder was carried out by one person? The fact that your daughter is dead doesn't mean a whole lot of people should be arrested. It could be just one person who thought about the whole thing, who orchestrated the whole thing to take out your daughter.
The person who made the call. Whoever knew she was going to be on that street that night and said nothing, or worse, said something to the wrong person. Her mother was specific about that. She wasn't just asking for justice for the trigger. She was asking for justice for the plan. And if this case is what it looks like, a setup, a coordinated ambush on a residential street in the middle of the night, then there are multiple people walking around right now who know exactly what happened to Qualeisha Barnes. One of them needs to talk. If you know anything about this case, anything at all, Atlanta Police Department has an anonymous tip line. You don't have to put your name on it. You don't have to show your face. But Qualeisha's family deserves answers. That baby deserved a chance to be born. And whoever did this deserves to be held accountable. Fully accountable.
Involved.
Here is what stays with you after you learn about Qualeisha Barnes. She wasn't waiting for her life to start. She was already in it, building, grinding, creating, growing.
She was living her
life. A rap
life.
Career with a real following, a boutique she built from the ground up, a nursing degree almost in her hands, a baby on the way.
Come on, man.
At 36 years old, she was hitting her stride.
Damn.
And somebody took all of it. Her sister said it.
Damn.
The clearest. No stage name, no hashtag, no tribute could capture what was actually lost. I know her as Qualeisha. I know her as Lily. I know her as we in the same house in the same bed. That's what I know her as. All that friend stuff, I don't care about none of that. That was my sister. That was my baby.
I know her as Qualeisha. I know her as Lily. I know her as we in the same house in the same bed. That's what I know her as.
That is who Qualeisha Barnes
ma'am.
was. Not a headline, not a statistic. Somebody's baby, somebody's sister, somebody's cousin, a whole person, with plans, with dreams, with a child on the way, who deserved to make it home that night. This case is a reminder of something that too many families in too many cities already know.
And my condolences to the family, to her mom, to her sisters, her dad. You know, it's very difficult to handle issues like this. You know, she had everything she needed in life. She was studying, she was in school, getting her degree, she was rapping, she was making bangers, she had a business of her own, and she was about to be a mom. So why would somebody plan something like that against an innocent girl? Well, I don't know, something might have brought up the whole murder issue, but I think killing someone is not the solution to to solving problems. I hope the police are able to apprehend whoever is behind this and make the family happy again. Now that's all, folks. See you some other time. Bye.